Okay, it should work this time. We're gonna find out if it works. Okay, it's working, working, working. Okay, I think I got both channels working. All right, so we got YouTube over here, Instagram over here. I want to say I can see everybody and everybody can see me. Welcome to a live Q&A with Brittany Noel. If this is your first time joining, welcome. I am Brittany Noel, a therapist out of Houston, Texas. Um, I try to go live once a week so that you guys can ask me questions and I can give you answers, right? If you've been a part of my tribe, then you guys know that I always have the saying that we come here to ask hard questions to get honest answers. So, in a minute, we're going to have a big group therapy session, okay? So this is your first time joining, you are in for a treat. In the chat, tell me where you're from, okay? What city? I'm always amazed by where these videos go. So tell me what city you're tuning in from. If you're a part of my Daily Fix tribe, I want to hear it in the chat. TDF sound off. In the chat, let me see you. Hey, Greg. Hey, Miss Princetta. Glad to see you guys. Miss Elaine. I have YouTube over here, and then I have Instagram also going. You guys who are part of my tribe, y'all know that we get pretty transparent in these conversations. I already see. Okay, all right, Instagram. Yes, I will see you. I will be in Atlanta in December. Jersey. Okay, I'm gonna be in New York in November. Okay. Y'all are already ahead of me. So yes, the Heart Talks tour is coming to a city near you. Okay. So all those videos circulating right now with my beautiful face talking about stuff, I'm coming to your city. So I will be Houston is August, which is my birthday weekend. It's my birthday show. So if you're in Houston, you want to be at that show because I'm going all out. Um, and then we're going to backdoor in October and we will be in LA. So if you're in LA, get your tickets. That's the next show coming up after Houston. And then we'll have Atlanta in no, LA, New York in November, Atlanta in December. All right. So get your tickets. All right. I want to see y'all. I want to see your faces. I want to talk to you guys. I want to touch you. I want to feel you. Okay. I want to give you some hugs. All right. I'm going to invade your personal space. Um, so yes, and then we are planning for 2025 to visit all of the cities that y'all want me to come to. Chicago is on the list. Florida is on the list. All right, they're on the list, but for next year. Okay. So, oh, that leads me to my only announcement. All right. So, if you haven't gotten your tickets already, this is the link that you guys can use to get your tickets. We already went to Dallas. So Dallas was in June. So you missed me in Dallas. So you're gonna have to drive to Houston to catch me. All right. But here's the link to get your tickets. Hold on. I had a discount code for y'all. Let me see if I can find the discount code. And I'll give it only to the people who were on my live tonight. I think it's a 10% discount. But I'll see if I can find it. In the meantime, you guys know how we do it. All right. There are no questions that are off limits. You can ask me any question as it relates to your life, what's going on with you. If you have questions about relationships, family, purpose, your job, identity. We do it all right. I told someone the other day I've celebrated 10 years of clinical experience this July. All right. I've been doing this for a while, so there ain't many questions that I haven't heard. So the first question I see in the chat, that'll be the first question that kicks off our night. Okay. All right, Miss Jasmine. Okay. Hey, Miss Aubrey. I'm talking to my YouTube audience over here. And then we got Instagram over here. So the first question I see in the chat, just enter it down below. Okay. All right. I'm going to start with my YouTube people. See, this is why I love YouTube because YouTube, I can just put the question on the screen. All right. Miss Aubrey, I need help. I have bad anxiety and I don't know how to handle it. Okay, Miss Aubrey. So anxiety is the emotion, right? Anxiety is rooted in the fear of something. So typically, if you struggle with anxiety, it means that you have fear, whether it's a specific fear or if it's just a generalized fear. But I want you to understand that having bad anxiety is a symptom, it is not the problem. Okay. Anytime you struggle, if you struggle with depression, if you struggle with anxiety, if you struggle with isolation, those are all symptoms, but they are not the actual problem. So to address the issue, I got to pinpoint what what is my anxiety trying to communicate to me? Okay. All of our emotions are communicators. They communicate something is off, something is wrong. It is our job to go and communicate, to go investigate what the issue is. So, in doing your own research, you've got to pinpoint where is this anxiety coming from? What, if it's anxiety, the question is, what am I afraid of? All right. With anxiety, the question is always, what am I afraid of? And that question alone can open up a whole can of worms on you because you can be afraid of your future. You could be afraid of your past. You could be afraid of repeating a certain cycle. You could be afraid of having certain experiences. You could be afraid of not having certain experiences. So I have to drill down into what is it that I am afraid of because that's where I'm going to find the solution and looking at what it is that I'm afraid of. And you say, I face a lot of rejection. Oh, that's someone else, Sarah. But in looking at what you're afraid of, that will help you understand what the action plan needs to be. But I have to be clear with myself about what is the fear that I am trying to outrun. Because anxiety is nothing more than your brain trying to problem solve ways to not get hurt, ways to survive, ways to not be exposed in some way, right? So your brain is working overtime trying to protect you. What do I need protection from? And that's where you're going to start uncovering how to address your anxiety. Okay. I thought I saw a question on Instagram. Let me scroll back up. Okay. I've been on a healing journey, but I also feel like I don't know what to do with myself. I don't like doing the things I used to do anymore, but I'm missing familiarity. Familiarity. um, I don't want you to miss the familiar. I want you to grieve the familiar. I don't want you to miss the familiar. I want you to grieve the familiar. Because when I am on a healing journey, what people forget is that in order for me to heal, it means that I am evolving into something new. You don't get to go back to who you were before you started the healing journey. When you are truly healing and recovering and growing, you evolve into a whole nother version of yourself that you've never met before. So going back to old environments is nothing more than you regressing back to who you used to be. You're not supposed to enjoy the things that you used to enjoy. You're not supposed to like the things that you used to like. When you're evolving into a new version of yourself, the upgraded version, all right? In my community, we call it our 2.0 version, right? When you're upgrading and evolving into the next version of yourself, you have a new appetite for things. Your job is to figure out with this new version of who I am, what feeds my appetite. On this next level, what brings me inspiration? On this next level, what makes me feel safe? On this next level, what energizes me? What lights me up? The reason why most people relapse into old versions of themselves is because they got afraid of discovering who this new version is. Who is the 2.0 version of me? What do they like? What do they need in order to thrive? This is where your evolution requires you to go into new spaces. Your evolution requires you to make new friends. Your evolution requires you to push yourself out into different, I was going to say subdivisions, right? But it's different areas of living, different ways of thinking. So it's going to be hard for you because believe me, I tried it, right? When you upgrade into the next version of yourself, you can't even go back to those places because when you're back in it, it's very apparent to you, this is not where I belong. I don't fit in here anymore. The things that I used to joke about in this season, in that season, those things aren't even funny to me anymore. The things that I used to get enjoyment from, those things don't even, I can't even chuckle at them anymore. They're not funny. They're not enjoyable. It's not exciting because that's not who I am anymore. So your job is to explore the new version of you. Instead of going back to what you knew, I have to start to create new experience with this version of who I am. Go to a bookstore and get lost. Drive around your city and get lost. Adventure is one of the best ways to inspiration into finding who you are. But in this season, you have to be open to all things new. I'm not expecting anything to look like it used to look for me. Okay. All right. That was a good question. Okay. All right, Instagram. I see a lot of questions on Instagram. Let's see. Um, how do I allow or get myself to leave a relationship that I know I need to leave? So how do I allow myself to leave a relationship that I know I need to leave? Um, knowing something and knowing something are two different things, right? So knowing I need to leave a relationship and my heart being ready to leave a relationship are two different things, right? And they're on two different timetables because I can know that this person is not good for me. I can know that they can't love me appropriately. I can know that I'm not fulfilled here. I can know that I'm being disrespected. I can know all of these things, but my heart isn't ready to accept what I know, right? So the goal here is to not focus on what you know. It's focused on what your heart is communicating, right? Why is it that my heart needs to cling to this person? What is it about this relationship that my heart is unwilling to accept that it's not here? What is it that my heart is hoping that it can get from staying attached to this person, staying connected? Because in order for you to leave that relationship, you have to get your heart to accept what your brain already knows. And your heart will not accept it until you allow your heart to break. Your heart will not accept that it can't have the thing that it has until you allow whatever that image that you have of that relationship, the vision that you have of that relationship, the kids you thought you were going to have, the house with the white picket fence and the vacations, all of that vision and imagination that you created of what you thought this relationship was going to be, until you kill that imagination of the relationship, the heart still has something to cling to. So your heart is still holding on to hope that one day, eventually, if I stick it out, if I ride or die, if I prove myself. So until you allow your heart to break completely, that the vision that you were holding on to will never come to pass, your heart cannot move on. So that means that I have to stop romanticizing this connection. It means that I have to stop giving people excuses for their behavior, right? Instead, oh, they're working on themselves, they're growing. No, this is someone who doesn't prioritize me. Instead of, oh, well, they're still learning how to love appropriately. No, this is someone who willingly chooses not to learn how to love me. Start telling yourself the truth about who they are, and your heart will wake up and realize, hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me the love was never real? You mean to tell me that the dream was never real? You mean to tell me that the relationship that I thought this was going to be, it was never real? That's when your heart will start to break. And as painful as that breaking is, it's necessary because that's the only way that you'll have permission to walk away. I got to kill that fantasy. I got to kill the dream so that my brain and my heart can come on one accord with what needs to be done. Okay? It's not easy. I know people say, you should know. Yeah, we know a whole bunch of things. But what keeps us tied to relationships is not what we know. We know we shouldn't touch fire. We know we shouldn't speed when we're driving. We know we shouldn't drink alcohol. Like we know things. So why do we go against what we know? Because it's not a head issue, it's a heart issue. Okay. Let's see who has the next question. Um, okay. Okay. All right. So y'all have the Heart Talks link. If you want this every day, meaning you want to be a part of my tribe, because I know y'all have heard me talk about my tribe a few times now. My tribe is the Daily Fix. Okay, there's the link to the Daily Fix. These are the people who join me Monday through Friday. We have a live call every day where we are talking about different things. The month of July, we were focusing on building secure relationships. So if you missed that month, guess what? You can join now and you'll have all of our replay calls. And we talked about a lot that you don't want to miss about how do I identify a secure relationship and how do I work on my own stuff to be ready for a secure relationship. So you can join the Daily Fix, and when you join, you have access to almost 300 videos of content, okay, from me. I have over 300 videos of content in the Daily Fix that you don't want to miss, okay? It's truly life-changing. All right, next question. Let's see. Thank you, Miss. Is it Rashida? Rashida. Okay. I'm in a healthy relationship now, but I find myself self-sabotaging. Any advice to help deal with this? You need to understand yourself, and you need to understand um, why you're sabotaging, right? It's normal to go into a healthy relationship and feel dysregulated, because if I'm used to unhealthy relationships, if I'm used to relationships that hurt me or harm me, if I'm used to relationships that are one-sided or for whatever reason they're not fulfilling, when you finally get into a healthy relationship, it can be triggering because you don't know how to move. When I'm in a unhealthy relationship, we get good at defending ourselves. So you are in a relationship with your boxing gloves on, right? You're in a relationship with this person that you say you like, you say you love, but at any given time you have walls up protecting you from the next time a blow is going to hit you, right? So you don't know how to be fully vulnerable, you don't know how to be honest, you don't know how to ask for what you need. So there is a learning curve. In order for you to feel secure in that relationship, you're going to have to work on one, learning what is it that I don't know? What is it that I don't know about what it means to be in a healthy relationship? What is it that I don't know about how to communicate in a healthy way? What is it that I don't know about how to regulate my emotions? One of the biggest breakdowns in relationships is not necessarily what people do or don't do, or what they say and what they don't say. It's the lack of emotional control. The reason why you can't communicate well is because you are not, it's not even that you're a bad communicator. It's that you're an emotional communicator. You communicate when you're emotional. And communicating when I'm emotional is very different from communicating from a rational place. So I have to learn how to self-soothe my own emotions, get clear on what it is that I need so that I can then go to my partner and have a constructive conversation about what's going on in the relationship. So, in order for you to feel secure in that connection, in a healthy relationship, learn what you don't know. Spend more time investigating yourself. Every thought you have needs to be questioned. Why did I think that? Is that thought valid? Why do I all of a sudden feel fear? Is the fear valid? What triggered the fear? It's a lot of self investigation so that you can understand how and why you're responding the way that you respond. Most importantly, you need to get clear with your partner, okay? Not just about what you need and what you're working on and what you got going on, okay? Because this is the big thing. If I'm willingly walking into a relationship where I feel like it's a healthy dynamic and my partner may be further than where I am in my journey, even though I'm still working on stuff, I'm still responsible for loving my partner appropriately. And this is where people don't like me because it's not fair for you to reap the benefits of a healthy partner while you neglect your partner because you're still working on stuff. So while I'm asking my partner for patience, and while I'm asking for their understanding, and while I'm asking that they, bear with me and give me time and respond in a certain way, cool. But at some point, we got to turn the tables and say, while I am working on myself, what do you need from me to feel secure? What do you need from me to feel safe? What do you need from me to feel loved? Because yes, I'm working on my stuff, but the fact that I agreed to be in this relationship with you means I am responsible for your heart. And I can't let my stuff get in the way of me showing up for the responsibility that I volunteered for. So this is why when people give excuses for why they can't show, well, I never had a daddy. I never had a mama. Okay, cool. All of that is well and fine. If you knew you didn't have the skill set, then why did you volunteer for the position? If you knew you weren't ready, if you knew you didn't have the capacity, if you knew that there was a learning curve that you weren't going to be able to provide what I need, then why did you put in your application? So just because you're working on yourself does not give you permission to neglect your partner because you didn't know better. So yes, we can ask our partners to be there for us. We can ask our partners to bear with us. Cool. But also, babe, sweet, sweet, sweet honey bun, okay? Sugar in my coffee, okay? Peanut butter in my cup. What do you need from me so that I can still love you appropriately? And then you go through hell and high water to make sure you meet that need. Okay? All right. Okay, next question. I have a YouTube question. I find that I am antisocial. I am now antisocial, and I wasn't before. I used to love people, and now I don't. I think it's because I've been hurt or disrespected one too many times. How can I love people again? You got to heal, sweetheart. Right? Believe me, when you are going through life and you're going through difficult seasons and you're going through painful seasons, you will hit a season where a season called bitterness. Okay? You will hit a season called bitterness. And it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the process. I'll never forget my season. My season wasn't necessarily bitterness. My season was just anger. Right. And this happened for me earlier. Like I want to say freshman, freshman year in college, maybe. But I was so angry. And what made me angry was exactly what you said. I've been hurt and disrespected too many times. But it was when I finally woke up to the reality of how many people had dropped me, where I couldn't depend on my mother and father was nowhere around, and I was the one that everybody leaned on, and the friendships that I had didn't show up. And when I became aware of how well I was taking care of everyone else, and the minute that I needed someone, no one was around, I got angry. Do you hear me? I didn't want to deal with people. People sucked. I can't stand y'all. Nobody talked to me. I don't want to be around you. I was done with people. And this was my angry season. Okay. I talk about angry Brittany quite a bit because people think I'm so love and light that I don't get the other part. And I'm like, just as much as I'm light, we can go that other way as well, right? So I had an angry season because I couldn't understand why I was so good to other people, but no one could find it in their heart to be good for me. In order to heal from that season, you're going to first have to forgive yourself for expecting better from other people. Number one, you're going to have to learn that for everybody who hurt you, everyone who disrespected you, whoever they were, they didn't have the capacity. And as hard as it is to digest this, it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. They didn't hurt you because you weren't valuable. They didn't hurt you because you didn't have something special. They didn't hurt you because you deserved it. The reason why they dropped you was because they didn't have hands big enough to hold you. They dropped you because they weren't assigned to love you. They dropped you because they gave you what was in their capacity. It wasn't personal. That was a them thing. It wasn't a me thing. In order for me to work through my anger, I had to realize, Brittany, yes, you were dropped, but it wasn't because you weren't valuable. It wasn't because you weren't lovable. The reason why they were there was because they saw your value. So in moving through that, I have to depersonalize what other people did because it wasn't about me from the beginning. And then I had to learn to become for myself everything that I wanted from everybody else. This is how I became so good at loving me because I was dead set on being everything that I felt I was robbed of. So everything that I felt my mama didn't do or she wasn't for me, cool, I'll do that for me. Everything that I felt I didn't get from my daddy and he wasn't there, cool, I will do that for me. This is why my self-talk game is on 1,000. Okay? Because I learned how to affirm myself. I learned how to nurture myself. I learned how to speak to myself in a loving way, in a kind way, to build back who would everything that I was that I thought somebody else took from me. You won't start to love other people until you could start to love yourself in that way. Because the same way, now listen, hear me out. Because this is where people get mad at me once again. The minute I go down accountability street, because when I started to love myself in that way, right, I realized, Brittany, when you were angry, you hurt a lot of people. When you were fed up and you were angry and you were mean and you weren't happy, there were people who crossed your paths who got cut and they weren't the ones who cut you in the first place. There were people who showed up in your life to love you, but instead of loving them, you pushed them away. There were people who tried to be a friend to you, and instead of being a friend, you were unavailable. So the same way that you can go through a season where you're hurt and you're damaged and you hurt other people, everybody that you had on your hit list went through the same thing. I had to forgive myself for becoming the exact same thing I said I didn't want to be. I had to forgive myself for not knowing that there was a different version of me that was available. Loving people again means I have to see the human in the people, even when they're imperfect. I have to see where their scars impacted how they interacted with me. And the same way I deserve forgiveness for my dark season, they deserve forgiveness for theirs. Now, it don't mean we got to fool with each other. It don't mean we got to be the best of friends. It don't mean we need to talk every day, right? But I was able to forgive my mother when I realized, Brittany, you could have easily been her. The only difference between you and her is that she had 5 kids to deal with and you had none. How lucky of you to be able to go through a season of darkness and not have any children attached to you to absorb the darkness. How blessed are you that you were able to go through your season and deal with yourself without having 5 kids to come up and judge you afterwards. So I was able to release her from my expectations, right? Because most times when we're hurt by people, we're hurt by our own expectations of who I wanted you to be, who I thought you could be, what I thought I deserved from you, and I didn't get it. So you'll learn to love people again when you create your own self safety, your own self love. It's like your own bubble of self. You won't be able to venture back out into building a community filled with love and trust and wholeness until you've created that foundation of self first. Okay. All right. Heart Talks, Houston, Texas, August 24th. All right. That's my birthday weekend. The link on the screen. If you're in Houston, close to Houston, come on up, pull up. I promise you it is going to be groundbreaking. It's going to be groundbreaking. Um, if you're not in Houston, I'm going to be in LA. LA. When is LA? October. October 5th is LA. November, I think November 9th is New York. And then we're closing out the year December 5th in Atlanta. Atlanta's going to be a movie because y'all are not playing with these tickets. Atlanta is almost sold out. New York is almost sold out. So, hey, just get your tickets. Get your tickets, okay? All right. Let's see. Yes, at ATL, December 7th. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to our questions. Yes, you need to be there, Miss Vet. Okay, Atlanta in the building. August 26th. Okay, yeah, I'm August 27th. That's my actual birthday. It's August 27th. Very good. Okay, who has the next question? How do I deal with boyfriend's female friend that doesn't like me? You don't deal with them. That's not your responsibility. That's his responsibility. Right? If he's chosen to be in a relationship with you and he has a friend who doesn't like you, that's not your responsibility to deal with. That's his responsibility. So this is where you have to put your boundaries in place, right? Whatever boundary that may be, whatever boundary you're comfortable with, because there is no right or wrong boundary here. It's, hey, sweetheart, honey bun, sugarfoot. I'm enjoying this relationship. I love where this is going. I want us to go into a deeper connection. However, your friendship with Angela makes me feel uncomfortable. When we're in the same room together, she gives me certain looks, she says certain things that makes it hard for me, the best person I can be for you in our relationship. How do you think we can address this in a way that works for me so where my safety is not violated, my boundaries are not violated, and you don't feel like I'm trying to control who you're friends with? That's what that conversation looks like, right? This is a very rational listen. Another reason why I think relationships struggle. We make everything an emotional matter. It is very matter of a fact. It ain't about what she said. It ain't about what she looked at me the wrong way or I don't care what she said. I don't care what she did. I didn't come here for her. All right. This is an example where we handle this like a business issue. We're not here to yell. We're not here to get emotional. It's very straightforward. Right? I love you, want to be with you. I love where this is going. I want it to continue to go. However, your friendship with this person affects the way that I show up for you. What does the compromise look like? Right? Is the compromise that she doesn't come around? Is the compromise that you guys don't all hang out together? Whatever the compromise is, find the compromise and make sure that it's a compromise that is fitting with your boundaries. What you don't do is try to dictate and control who they're friends with. You don't make that decision, he does. So he has to be the one to say, you know what? I'm going to take some step backs from that friendship. Not because my girl told me so, because I'm a grown man, I'm not a child, but because I have decided that for the health of my relationship, putting distance between me and this person is wise. So your job is to communicate to him. I want to be my best for you. I want to give you my all. I want to feel safe in this connection. But your inability to put boundaries between yourself and this friend is making it hard for me to do that. Is that the type of relationship that you want to have with me? Because now he has to decide for himself. Does he value the friendship or does he value the relationship? And he gets to make that decision. It's not now you may get your feelings hurt, but the conversation itself is not an emotional conversation. It's very matter of fact, sweetheart. I want to be here for you, but I can't be here for you in that condition. So what can we do about it? What are we going to try to do to problem solve the situation? Okay. All right. How do I deal with alcoholism? Uh, so alcoholism is a symptom again, right? Any drug use, okay? Because to answer this question, I'm gonna relate it to escapism. Okay, escapism is anything that we do to escape our current realities or numb ourselves from our emotions. So the same way one person can lean on alcoholism in order to escape themselves, escape their thoughts, escape their emotions, escape my past, I can also watch a Netflix series for 3 days straight. I can also go shopping on Amazon and spend up all my money, right? Is anything that I do to numb myself or remove myself from my current reality. I needed my water. Hold on. Okay. So yes, the thing is that escapism, alcoholism, drug use of any kind, they are symptoms to a larger problem. So we have to look at what is it that you're escaping? When did the escaping begin? Um, to deal with alcoholism, first of all, depending on the severity of alcoholism, there's a detox phase. So you would first want to make a plan for detox. The issue with with detox, especially alcoholism, depending on the severity, one, you cannot detox by yourself. It's not safe to detox by yourself. You need to detox in an actual hospital setting or some type of medical setting, depending on how dependent you are and how much you're actually drinking. If you try to detox on your own, your body could go into all types of failure, liver failure, lung failure, and you could die. People die trying to detox on their own. So, one, make a plan for detox. Your plan for detox has to include some type of support system. So, if you don't have family and friends, do you have a therapist? Is there an addiction counselor? Is there a sponsor? Is there an AA group? Is there someone who can help you with the support piece of both detoxing and beginning the road of recovery? Because as much as we would love to believe it, it is very hard to take that road of recovery on our own. So, who is going to be a part of my support system that keeps pointing me towards the light when things are getting very dark, right? Um, at some point, you're going to have to stop drinking, right? When you stop drinking, you replace the drinking behavior with as many other activities as you can, healthy activities. This is where you want to get some hobbies. This is where you want to be in AA groups every day. They have AA groups in person, they have AA groups online. You can attend Zoom meetings, right? But you want to be in AA groups every day, literally. And I know it sounds like a lot, but when you think about the true addiction piece of alcoholism, your mind runs to it every day. You don't get a break. It's every day. And so this is why I need to be linked and plugged in to something that is pulling me forward every day. So I would say start there. It's a drug recovery from any type of drug, whether it's narcotics, alcohol. It's never an easy road, but it is possible. Okay. I've done I've worked drug addiction for a very long time. It is possible. It is possible. But you have to prepare for it. You got to prepare for it. And don't wait for the right time. There is no right time to get clean. There is no right time to stop smoking. There is no right time to stop drinking. You make the decision that I'm saving my life today. I'm saving my life today. And every time that you have that urge to go back and drink or pick up the pipe or whatever it is that is your drug of choice, I'm saving my life today because that's how critical that decision is. Okay. All right, all right, all right. What is the next question, y'all? I hope I'm gonna see y'all at Heart Talks. I wouldn't recommend you drink socially, right? I wouldn't make. I always think about this funny, right? But if your drug of choice was crack, nobody says, I wanna smoke crack socially. Nobody says, I'm sober from crack, but I just want to hang out at the crack house, right? The thought, I just want to drink socially, is how you talk yourself back into the unhealthy behavior, right? It's when I'm detoxing from sugar and I tell myself, oh, Brittany, you're just going to have one cookie. Really? We only going to have one cookie? It's a lie, right? But it's how I trick myself into believing that the behavior that I'm participating in isn't that bad. And that's how you start the cycle of addiction all over again. So drinking socially is not something I would recommend. Okay. Next question. Next question. Okay. Do you know anything about men becoming empty nesters and suddenly freaking out, asking for a divorce, criticizing everything being done? Sure. But it's not just men who do that, it's women do that too, right? Here's the truth about empty nesters. And I'm telling you, I used to work on an inpatient unit on the weekends. And I would have women, it always blew my mind because I'm relatively young. I'm still in my 20s at that time. And I would have women in their 50s and 60s getting admitted into an inpatient unit, right? And these are high functioning individuals. They got jobs, they got careers. Like I'm like, what is going on? And I'm talking to them and they go into a full blown depression because the kids left the house. What's true about the empty nest is that for many people, not just women, but men included, becoming a caretaker and taking care of kids becomes the way that we medicate our issues. Because as long as I deal with these kids and I take care of these kids and I got to get them to soccer practice and we got to feed them and I got to work overtime and back to school is coming up and we got to get backpacks and they need shots and this one was sick and we get, as long as I am busy dealing with the raising of the kids, I don't have to address the internal issues that I have within myself. I don't have to address my own past and what I've been through, but I don't have to address the sacrifices that I've made for the last 20 years. I don't have to address the grief that I've been holding on for the last 10 years. I don't have to address the disappointments because all of that stuff that I've just been stuffing in a closet for the last 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, now that the kid is gone, that closet is looking me dead in my face. And now I have to take accountability for the fact that when I started having kids, I stopped growing. When I started having kids, I stopped focusing on my needs. When I started having kids, I tolerated what was good and I never got what really lit my heart up. When I started having kids, I stopped reaching for more. And so now that the kids are gone, I'm here, stuck with myself and my decisions that I've been making for the last 20 years, right? And there are many parents, that don't realize that y'all don't know how many people I get in after they've watched one of my videos, right? And they realize I don't know who I am. I thought I did, but all I did was define myself based on my job. All I did was define myself based on how much money I made. All I did was define myself based on who I was for somebody else. So when I ask people, who are you? And they say, oh, I'm a nurse. I'm a mom. I'm a director. I'm an entrepreneur. And you tell me your roles and you tell me what you do, but you don't tell me who you actually are. Who are you unattached from other people? Can you just stand alone on your own identity and be content with everything that you are and everything that you're not? That's the building blocks of identity. Try describing yourself without attaching somebody else to it. Who am I when I'm not a mom and I'm not a sister and I'm not a brother and I'm not a dad? Who are you when you're not a provider? Who are you when you're not taking care of someone else? Who are when you're not nurturing someone else? Who are you? And that's why the emptiness is hard because now I have to deal with me and I have a lot of unanswered questions. What I would tell you is to support him because not just support him, but I also want you to see yourself in him. Because this is what I also know about couples. However long y'all been together and been married, whatever he's going through, I guarantee you, there is on some level you're going through it as well. Because when we've been together for that long, we become mirrors to one another. In the same way he was masking and he was hiding and he was stuffing stuff in the closet, you got your stuff that you was put in the closet. You got your places and your areas of growth that you stopped because the kids needed you. So in order to fully support him, one, see yourself in him so that you can have empathy for where he is. And that with empathy comes patience and comes self-compassion. And now we can both agree we got some mess that we need to clean up. We got some stuff that we need to figure out. We got questions that we need to find answers to, and we can support each other in finding those answers, and we don't have to turn on each other in the process. Okay. All right. All right. I love how I be delivering answers that I know be stepping on people's toes, and then I just be so happy. All right, next question. I know I just made somebody cry, but next question. Okay, very good, very good. YouTube, how y'all doing over there? Okay. I'm gonna take one more question. Again, if you're just joining, Brittany Noel from Houston, Texas. All right. Mental health therapist, licensed for 10 years. Okay. This is our big group session. Okay. And we have heart talks coming up. And heart talks coming up. Okay, last question. Let's see. I need a question from a guy. So every call, I always ask for a question from a guy. So if there's a guy on YouTube or a guy on the chat on Instagram, ask a question so that I can answer you, because I always like to bring my men into the fold. For those of you who don't know, I at one point in my career, I only worked with men for 4.5 years. So I have a deep seated love for working with my guys. Um, and it's a different experience. I love working with men. So I want my a guy in the chat to ask me a question so that we can make sure that they are seen and heard. Mm, 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 mm. In the meantime, get your Heart Talks tickets. Heart Talks tickets. Heart Talks tickets. Okay. I was doing the planning today, and I'm like, if I don't know if y'all have ever had like, I just be extra. I'm extra. Okay, I'm extra, and I love it. Am I ever coming to Canada? Sure. So anytime someone asks me to come to a location, if I'm not hosting an event there, y'all do know that I like speak for a profession. So y'all can invite me to your events, invite me to your conferences, invite me to whatever you got going on, and I will be happy to be there. Okay. Tell your job that you need me to come in and teach mental health and wellness. I'm there. Okay. Okay. So I don't see a code from a guy. Um, I couldn't find the discount code, y'all. Let me let me see if I can find it real quick. I couldn't find the discount code. Okay, I see a guy. A question from a guy. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see. I don't think. I don't know if it'll work. Hold on. Um. All right, y'all. I don't. So I see. Let's see. Okay. How do you know when you found your person? Loved. Ooh, that's not it. See, y'all, I'm clicking on too much stuff. Okay, so the code is loved. 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 That should work. Okay. So how do you know when you found your person? One of the things that I want to kind of debunk for you guys, there's no such thing as the one. There's no such thing as the one. All right. Um, Truth is, there could be multiple ones. Okay. There is no such thing as just one person on this earth that you just match with and fireworks happen and you fall in love. Okay. Finding the one for you, first and foremost, is about finding the person who chooses me, period. right? It's as simple and as complicated as that, because then you get into, well, what does it look like to be chosen by someone? So the truth is that finding the person for me is the one who chooses me. Choosing me looks like honoring my boundaries. Choosing me looks like being willing to sacrifice themselves in some way in order to meet my needs. Choosing me looks like being willing to be uncomfortable when it's time for you to love me. Choosing me looks like being willing to stretch yourself in the ways that we need to grow, right? What I have seen, a lot of people, especially people who are loud on the internet about what love is and women ain't this and men ain't that, the reason why they're so hurt and they're so bitter and they're so damaged is because someone did not choose them. And what happens is you take the person you want because you want them, and then you try to convince them to choose you. The person who is the one for you does not need convincing to love you. They do not need convincing to show up for you. They do not need convincing and coercing and manipulation to want to be there for you. So you have to pay attention to the people who are willing to show up for you, even at the expense of themselves. Who's willing to be uncomfortable for you? Who can be consistent? Okay. Who can be predictable? We talked about this morning, right? So, one, I want you guys to take some of the pressure off of finding the one, because there is no such thing as the one. There could be multiple people who can do this and show up for you. But my job is to recognize when I'm being chosen, because the truth is, we will reject people who choose us because they didn't come in the packaging that we thought that they were going to come in. We will reject people who choose us because we weren't able to recognize when we were being loved appropriately. It didn't look the way I thought it was going to look. It didn't show up how I thought it was going to show up. And so I put this person in the friend zone, or I mishandled that person. I completely mishandled that person because I thought something better would come available. I thought another option was going to be put on the plate. So in finding the one, you want to get clear with yourself about what does it mean for me to be chosen as a man? What does it look like when a woman chooses me? How does she respond? How does she respond to my needs? This is a big one for men and women, but men in particular. And the reason why I say that is because with women, um, most people want to meet our needs. Okay. It just is what it is. Okay. It's privilege. Right? If I can be the damsel in distress, somebody gonna come save me. Okay. But that's not true for men. So as a man, pay attention to how a woman responds when you say, I need something, even if you didn't ask her directly. But if you just said something off the bat and you're like, man, I really need to get an oil change, or man, I really need to go get a haircut. Does she respond with the Cash App? And again, I'm not talking about first date. I'm talking about someone that you're actually courting and getting to know, right? You're actually investing time into this person. Does she respond when you say you're tired? Listen, y'all. Pride myself on how I love. I love people correctly. Okay. If the person I'm courting says that they're tired or they've been working hard, next week I've scheduled a massage appointment. Next week they got a massage appointment on the books because I heard your need. And even though you didn't ask me to fix it for you, because I love in a way that says I seek to honor you in some way, to love you in some way, I seek to serve you in some way. I'm not selfish with what I have to give. I heard your need, and your need prompted my action. Pay attention when you have a need. Who is prompted into action to meet that need? Those are the people who are choosing you. And that's friendship. Okay. My friend knows when I had my podcast and I would shoot almost every week. And she knew me like the back of her hand. Okay. So every morning I'm always gotta work on, I gotta just be together. But because I'm always doing a lot, she knew Brittany is going to go shoot today. I promise you she doesn't have, at the time I was drinking, I don't know if it was Red Bull or what. So she showed up to the studio with the Red Bull. And as always, I was moving too quickly and I forgot to get my Red Bull. When I tell y'all I was so happy about that Red Bull, but she knew Brittany has a lot going on. She probably forgot to get what she needs. because she's taking care of the set and she got to plan this and she making sure the videographers are there. She's taking care of the guests who are coming to shoot. She took care of everyone else and forgot herself. She showed up with a Red Bull and that was my friend. So do you think I can date a man who can't anticipate what I need? I'm loved too well for that. So when you are able to understand what your own needs are, it gets easier for you to identify the people who are choosing you every day by being intentional about how they show up for you, how they seek to meet your needs. If you say you hungry and she didn't offer, do you want a candy bar, a Snickers, I got a mint, something. Okay? And it speaks to the character of people because I don't just do this for the people that I'm romantically involved with. If you're sitting next to me and we at work and you like, man, my stomach over here growling, I'm looking at my desk for something to feed you with. So for men, like I tell my brothers, if that woman isn't seeking to meet your needs in some way, just give her the side eye. I ain't saying leave her. I'm just saying look at her from the side. Just give her the side eye, okay? Because that's important. That's all I'm gonna say. That's important. Okay. Does that need come at the expense of you pursuing that woman first for her to see what I need? So steps, right? Vulnerability is steps. It happens in stages. It doesn't all happen at once. So my need when we first start talking could be, man, I really wanted to read this book or I really wanted to see this show. And then you text me and say, "Oh, Brittany, you know your show comes on tonight," or "Hey, I recorded the show for you," or "Hey, that book you wanted is in my Amazon cart." It's small stuff, so it doesn't have to be the big things. Okay, if you told her that you liked a certain team and she took it upon herself to go figure out when, oh, your team is playing. Did you want to go watch the game? Or it's stuff like that. Does she hear? Does she hear who you are as it just comes out naturally as you're talking, as she's getting to know you, and as she with the information that you've given her, does she respond appropriately, or are her hands just out to receive and she's not giving anything back? I don't like the conversations where people always talk about 50-50, 100-100. It don't matter, because when you have two people who genuinely seek to just meet each other's needs, there's not a percentage that we can put on it. There isn't truly a percentage where I can say, oh, I gave 20% and he gave me 20% back. No, all I can say is every time I needed something, he was there. All I can say is every time I needed something, she showed up. Those are the type of people that you're looking for. It's not about the number or the percentage, but I can guarantee you they are consistent with how they show up for me. And I can't put a number on that. I can't put a scale on that. It's genuine. It's honest. It's stable. It's predictable. That's what we're looking for. Okay. All righty, you guys. I have had a wonderful time with y'all tonight. If you haven't got your Heart Talks tickets, register for Heart Talks. Yes, men are invited to Heart Talks. Okay. My male clients always show up to my events. So if you're just now joining my tribe and you're a guy, stop by Heart Talks, because I guarantee you I have something for y'all too. Nate Cotman will be discussing vulnerable masculinity with me in Houston. And then I'm gonna get some amazing guys for the other stops. So come on by. All right. We one big happy family over here. I'm gonna let y'all go. And I will talk to y'all later. But y'all have a wonderful night. And if you want to watch the replay, you can watch the replay on my YouTube, Grow with Brittainy. Okay, Grow with Brittainy. The replay is on there. All right. Y'all have a wonderful night. Talk to you later.